Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Rich Mbariket. Hope you all had a wonderful Easter holiday. I got back late last night from Minnesota. I went to Minnesota with my family to visit my in-laws and had a wonderful, wonderful time. Felt really good to get away from Las Vegas for a few days. Got a chance to also hang out with my sister. She lives in Minnesota with my stepmother. Just overall had a great time, and we are back on the grind. And what a wonderful time. What a wonderful time to be in business as well as being an entrepreneur. The landscape is wide open. I think anyone with an idea, particularly I'm speaking to Nigerians in the diaspora, with an idea and focus can really build something and impact their communities in Nigeria, and also build a long-lasting business and set up investments that they can pass on to their children. Today's topic, as you guys know, I'm in the export space. We have a food and agricultural export business with operations here in the United States as well as in Nigeria, specifically Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. So a part of our business, actually an important part of our business, is Forex. You have to, since we're dealing the local currency, we have to exchange US dollars for Nigerian Naira to be able to run and operate our business successfully in Nigeria. And I wanted to talk to you guys today. I spoke with my agent in Lagos, check in with him occasionally to get information on the current black market exchange rate, since it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't really benefit the business owner to go through the Nigerian banking system, the CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, because the exchange rate is much lower compared to the black market. I think this has to be like my third or fourth video on the topic. So I try to share this information for the people who are looking to leverage and maximize the strong dollar to their benefit, whether it's investing or building. On the topic of building, I'm going to go over some of the current raw materials costs, and also going to share, and I'm speaking just through personal experience. I really don't speak for everyone here. We build primarily in Akwa Ibom State. Obviously, the cost of living there is a bit different from, let's say, Lagos or Abuja. But by and large, the exchange rates are practically the same, give or take maybe 5 Naira up, like plus or minus 5 Naira is what I'm trying to say. So if you're watching this, you are obviously interested in the growing exchange rate in Nigeria and what it means. And I'm going to get into that, but later on down in this video session. But the first thing I should probably highlight is the need. And sometimes I feel like I am, this guy in the middle of a desert with a megaphone, encouraging other Nigerians living in the diaspora to really, really prioritize investing back home. Sometimes it could feel like there's this illusion of, I'm based in the United States in Las Vegas. There's sometimes could be this illusion of, oh, America is a great country, or if you're in the UK or wherever you are in the world, that's all fine and dandy, but Nigeria is still home. And no matter where you go, and I've traveled all over the world. I mean, I've been to Europe, I've been to Asia. Obviously, we have a business in Nigeria, so I travel to Nigeria regularly. And I've come across so many people just throughout my travels and in my business operations who really don't have any footprint in the country. And when you ask them why, you get a laundry list of stories. So I tried it before, it just didn't work out for me. So I got discouraged and stopped investing or trying to build a future or retirement future for myself. You hear the stories all the time. And I'm pretty sure that you could relate. On this recent trip, I had a conversation with someone, just recent trip to Minnesota. I had a conversation with someone, and I'm not really trying to beat a dead horse here, but to me, it's just a topic that I'm passionate about, like business and investments. These are all topics that I'm passionate about. And I tend to find myself asking these questions like, tell me about your investments back in Nigeria. And it's not because I want to be all in your business. That's not really the reason why I ask these questions. It's more so that I am just interested. I am just passionate about the investment space and entrepreneurship and business. And I'm always curious to know what others are doing back home. And maybe I can learn a thing or two and apply it to my businesses or to my processes. And at the same time, also offer tips, advices, and recommendations, and maybe even some of my contacts that they could use to help them get started in their investments and business portfolio back home. Now, is investing or is running a business for everyone? Absolutely not. I mean, there are some people, I worked in corporate America for years. There are some people that are just okay. They're just okay with the 9 to 5 grind, waking up every day, working for someone. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that's actually good, by the way. I mean, working is good, whether you are working for yourself or you are working for a company. The good thing is you're working, which is important. You're bringing in income to take care of yourself and your family. That's super important. Never, ever, ever, ever going to take that away from anyone. But it's also important because the thing is with a 9 to 5 job, you can't pass that on to your children. You can't pass that on to your heirs. When you are done, you're just done. You might draw you might draw a pension or Social Security. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, my father worked for the state of Texas for I think 30 years. And he had a $1,500 a month pension. I mean, how he was able to live off of that pension really escapes me, because I don't know how he was able to live on that pension, but he did pass away in 2020. And I was privy to all of his finances. And I can tell you that he was in massive debt. He really was in massive debt. For someone who'd been in the United States for 40 something years, to just pass away like that with really nothing to show for it. Not here in the US, not in Nigeria, really, really starts to set things in perspective. I've always had entrepreneurship and business in my blood. For as far back as I can remember, I've always been in business in one way or another. Even in my corporate years, when I had the normal typical 9 to 5 jobs, I always had a hustle, always had a business on the side. And I always find myself gravitating towards entrepreneurship. And business, it's just what works for me. It doesn't necessarily work for everyone else, but it's where I find my happy space. I enjoy it's almost like a high, the process of being able to take something, make it better or improve upon it, and then sell it for a profit, whether it's a product or an idea. I was also in consulting for a while, or just sharing your knowledge. These are all, this is just the space that I operate in, that I've always found happiness in. And so with that said, let's, I don't want to like get off track too much here, because I really just want to keep this focused on the current black market exchange rate, but just wanted to give you a bit of a background. And so I can better tie everything together for you to understand, at least my perspective. So yeah, I deal with, actually I have 3 agents in Nigeria that I work with, in terms of the agents that I use when I am ready to change exchange US dollars in the black market for projects that I'm currently working on in Nigeria. So as I mentioned, we have the business, and we also are building a factory, and I'm also completing a building project in Nigeria. So we are very privy, I am very privy and very experienced in this capacity of going through the black market to change, to swap dollars for Naira. So yeah, I like I said, I work with 3 people. One in Lagos, that's my primary agent. He's based in Lagos. And 2 others, like my backups, are based in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. So before I make any move, I usually just compare the going rates and then decide who to go with. But my primary agent is usually my go-to guy, because I've worked with him the longest and I've built the best rapport with him. Not saying that I don't trust the others, I do, but he's just like my go-to guy. He's my bread and butter. And his rates are not always the highest, and I tend not to really look at that as much. I am willing to pay a little bit less with him, because I trust him. I know that he's going to deliver. If I have $5,000 that I need to exchange, 1,000, 2,000, you name it, I know for a fact that it's going to hit my account. I'm going to get that money. I don't have to chase him. I don't have to worry. So that's another thing that I always keep in mind when I am executing these exchanges. So yeah, I linked up with him today on the current exchange rate. And last time that I changed, it was 577. As of today, April 19th, 2022, it is 580 Naira. That's the going black market exchange rate. Now, I've heard that in some places it's higher and in some places it's lower. So, but me, when it comes to these rates, these exchanges, I'm not going to stress too much if it's just a 5 Naira differential. So if someone else is offering 585 or even 590 and he's offering 580, clearly I'm going to have a conversation with him to see how flexible he is or how firm he is on that 580. So he's very, very firm. Could I push for 582? I don't think he's going to. I don't think he won't accept if I were to push for 582. But again, time is money. Do I really want to spend time and waste valuable time trying to get that extra 2 Naira, or am I just going to go with the 580? I'm definitely going to go with the 580. And as I continue to work with him, it's been over a year now since we've been working together. He always has my best interest at heart. And I trust that the rates are only going to get better. Now, I remember in 2020, I was in Nigeria in 2020, the lowest that I changed 2024 was 460 Naira. And you fast forward 2 years, it's now 580. So what is this trend telling you? This trend is telling me that it's going to keep going up. That's just the trend. It's not dropping. It's going to keep going up because Nigeria is really hurting for US dollars right now. The CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, cannot keep up with the demand for US dollars. That's why you have the existence of these black market operators who are licensed by the CBN, by the way. So they run this parallel market. So these operators are licensed by CBN. That's where you go if you're looking for that immediate exchange rate at the highest possible maximum top Naira. You want to go with the black market. That's just no way. It makes no economic sense for you to give up 580 and go with the CBN official rate of 410, 415. You're really doing yourself a huge disservice. No one in their right mind would do that. But on the flip side, if you have Naira and you are looking to exchange that Naira for US dollars, it makes sense to go through the official CBN channel. But the disadvantage or the downside to that is you have to wait a long time. In some cases, 3 months to 6 months or even longer for you to be able to get that lower rate. And I'm talking about if you're looking to change Naira into US dollars. And a lot of people just don't have that kind of time. And they end up going through the black market rate. I think they're probably selling the US dollar now for, I'm thinking over 600 Naira. Over 600 if you want to go through that black market rate, which I usually wouldn't recommend if you are changing Naira to dollars. You don't want to go, you want to try as much as possible to go through the banking system there to better maximize the returns that you're going to get. Now, this is one of we are in a great space, and I mentioned this earlier. This is the time to really, really, really prioritize leveraging the strength of the dollar for business or for investments in Nigeria. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's 580. Let me wait. I want to wait until it's 600 or 620 or what have you, whatever number you have in your mind. But I always tend to look at this as these are just alibis that people are making. These are just excuses that people are making or people tend to make to not get started. And it could really affect you in the long run. But at 580, it's virtually impossible to go wrong at this rate. 580 is a good rate. Even 575, 577, that's a good rate for you to leverage in your projects because, and I'm qualified to speak on this because I'm building every single day. We have a project going on in Nigeria. It's like a duality to what we're doing. If we're not working on our building project, we are working on our exports category. So we are constantly invested. We know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's going on in Nigeria on the ground at all times. And I make sure to immerse myself in the culture and immerse myself in the goings on in Nigeria. And at 580, it's really impossible for you to go wrong because, and I'm going to talk about like some of the costs. If you're thinking about building and you're wondering, let's say how much a bag of cement is, or what the current labor force is right now, or the labor, like let's say the labor rate, like specialized areas like project managers or engineers, the specialized, those are like specialized skill sets. So the rate on those is something that you just have to negotiate with the professionals that you choose to go with. And I'm talking specifically to people who are looking to build in Nigeria. But as far as like the going day labor rate right now, in the village is only 1,500 Naira. I mean, if you break that down, that's like $2, $3 a day for labor. And I'm just talking about pure labor, just someone to muscle things around, maybe move a wheelbarrow or maybe help fetch water or carry cement, just like the raw, hardcore muscled labor in the village is 1,500 Naira. And in the cities, you can expect to pay about 2,000 Naira per day, again, just for pure core labor. How can you beat that at the exchange rate of 580 Naira? It's impossible to beat that. That's a great rate. That's a great rate. I mean, I just don't know how most people can sit there and expect to wait for the Naira to go, yeah, yes, it's gonna go higher, but at what point would you be ready to pull the trigger on this project? Okay, so that's just the day labor. Now you look at like cost of raw materials, like for instance, a bag of 50 kg or 51 kg bag of cement is going anywhere from 4,200 Naira to 4,500 Naira, depending on which part of the country you're in. Now, for our village project, we buy in the regional area, in our local government, right, in local government. And to have a bag of cement delivered from the dealer to the work site is only 4,500 Naira. So essentially, it's for you to pick up, it's like 4,400 Naira to pick up. But if you want them to deliver it, it's just an extra 100 Naira. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? You know, and then the cost of wood, the cost of other raw materials, nails, you name it. Just because the dollar is strong doesn't necessarily mean that labor or cost of raw materials are going up in Nigeria. They're really not. They've remained relatively the same or even dropping in some capacities. Okay. So with that said, you really have the advantage here. I mean, now, I don't know how the process is or how people are doing back home in Nigeria, but my audience, I'm speaking specifically to Nigerians abroad, Nigerians in the diaspora who are looking to invest back home or to build something back home for themselves, because America is great. I mean, I can speak for myself. The United States of America is my adopted country, never ever leaving, never ever moving home permanently. But it's good to just know that I have that flexibility and that option to be able to spend 50% of my time in Nigeria if I want to, and the other 50% of my time in the United States if I want to. It's really just having that option is one of the best gifts you can give yourself or your children or your family, because the last thing you want is to turn, and we are all going to age. I'm 43 years old. We're all going to get to that point where you're just not as strong. I mean, I consider myself being in my prime right now. But there's going to come a time where you're just not going to be, you're just not going to have that strength to hustle or to just grind and just make things happen. Is that when you're going to start building, thinking about your future or your retirement? Now is the time, and it's never, ever, ever too late. I've been in a position before where I going home wasn't fun for me back then. Why? Because I just didn't have a place to go to. So usually my 20s or 30s, you travel from the US, you just want to get away from the US on vacation. And then you get to Nigeria and you're having to live with family or staying with friends, or you find yourself staying in a hotel. These aren't really places that that I've ever felt comfortable in. I don't know about you, but I've just never felt comfortable in going and staying with a relative or staying in hotels. It's just never has never really been my thing. But now that I've built my family, we've built in Nigeria, it makes going to Nigeria fun, makes it just more fun. Because now we can drop in literally unannounced, literally unannounced. And I've done that before. You can drop in unannounced, you land at the airport, you get a taxi straight from the airport, you go straight into your home, you take your key, you unlock your door, and you rest because it's something that you've built. You don't have anybody knocking on your door. You're not worried about feeding the world. It's just you. When you're settled in and you've slept and you've rested and you've showered, you can go out and start, maybe go to the market, get some groceries, and then just control. Essentially, you control your environment. You decide who comes in and who goes out. That's the best feeling. It's the best gift you could ever give yourself. And when it's time for you to leave and go back to America, it's the same deal. No one has to know that you're leaving. Seriously, I can't encourage my peers enough to consider investing, so that way you have something to fall back on, even if it's not a building. I mean, one of the best investments right now are 2-bedroom flats. And land aren't that expensive. At this rate of 580, you could literally buy a small plot of land for $1,000. That's 580,000 Naira, depending on which part of Nigeria you want to live in. Now, I always also recommend build where you know. Build where you know. Buy property or land in areas that you know. If you know Lagos, why would you go and buy land in Abuja? Are you going to go live in Abuja? I've just been fortunate that I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm rooted in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Actually, we're not even looking at the cities right now. We are focused in the village, in the rural areas, because that's where I know. That's where my family is. This is where I have control over. It just makes it so much easier for me to execute projects in these areas because I know them well. And I'm also interested in developing these communities. A couple of years ago, we bought land, and by we, I don't like using I because I don't operate individually. I mean, I work very closely with my wife, Kate. And all our investments are together. Every decision that we make regarding Nigeria, we make it together as a family and as a team. So you're gonna find me saying we a lot. And by that, I mean that's just me and my wife, Kate. So we bought a 600 square meter, is it square feet or square meter, 600 square meter corner lot in Ibejuleki, Lagos. It's about 30 to 45 minutes drive from where Dangote is building his refinery. And I got a recommendation through my cousin because he's also invested, he's also investing there as well. But we purchased this plot of land in 2019 or early 2020 for all out, all fees included, for about 850,000 Naira. Today, that same plot of land that we invested in 2 years ago has doubled in value. Now, for us, this is a long tail investment. It's just something that we are going to hold on to. It's just one of those things where we had the money And we figured, okay, do we want to keep this money in the bank or do we want to put it in investment in Nigeria? I mean, it's a no-brainer. So this is a long-tail investment that we are going to hold on to. So let's say, see where we are in, let's say, in 10 years. Once we have settled and we are fully established in Akwa Ibom State, we'll see where we are in 10 years. And we could decide to either build that lot, put a building on that lot, or sell it and use the profit from that land to support our other investments in Akwa Ibom State. So you see how important investing in Nigeria is. Where else are you going to get that kind of return? You can't get that kind of return in a bank in the United States or abroad. You can only see that kind of those sort of returns in Nigeria. And don't let anybody dissuade you or fill your mind with what they feel. I always say, like, people tend to project their image onto others. And you're gonna hear the stories. You're gonna hear, oh, Nigeria is dangerous. It's just XYZ going on. I'm telling you, as someone who travels to Nigeria regularly, Nigeria is just as safe as the United States of America. I can tell you that right now. The only thing that we are lacking is just infrastructure. I mean, I move freely in Nigeria. The only thing that I don't do is I just don't move at night. And it's not because I'm afraid. I'm not. I don't fear anybody. It's just because sometimes it's always in the back of my mind, like, okay, golly, what if I have a flat tire at midnight? In the United States of America, I can get on the road at 1 o'clock in the morning, drive all night long, go about my business and not have to worry. Because in any situation, if a situation arose where I find myself with a flat tire on the freeway at 2 o'clock in the morning, which has happened before, it's just a matter of a phone call away. And I'm bailed out, whether it's calling AAA or just having friends, or, I mean, there was a situation, there was one time when I was in California, my vehicle broke down literally at 1 o'clock in the morning on the freeway. And I had a police officer. I don't know how he found out that I was there. I mean, I was literally on the phone calling for assistance, calling my friends or calling AAA, sorry, at the time, for assistance. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw the cop light behind me. And I'm like, oh, wow, thank God. The cop literally pushed, it's like bumper to bumper, pushed my car safely to the side of the road until help arrived. Now, I don't know if I can get that kind of service in Nigeria. So I just rather not take that risk. And that is why I I just have this policy that no matter what you do, Rich, you're good, very good in time management. You can get anything that you want done in Nigeria by 5 p.m. So that way you could be safely at home no later than 6. And if there's anything else that I have to do, it just has to wait until the next day. That's the only thing. Aside from that, I move freely. I come and go as I want in the country. It's really safe. So this craziness of having just people project their image or their perception of a particular country onto you to discourage you from investing or discourage you from going back home to even see what's happening back home. It's what's causing a lot of Africans that I've seen to just not have anything to show for their labor abroad. And you just hear the stories all the time. How you've been in America, how long, you have nothing to show for it. It happens all the time. I mean, I see it all the time. People in their 70s, people in their 80s, they could barely string sentences together. Their legs are gone. And then they're walking around And you just look at them, you try to have this conversation with them like, man, I don't want to be 80 years old and be struggling. You shouldn't even be 80 years old and be stuck abroad. Why? Because they just have nothing back home to show for it. And the energy, just the way Nigeria has changed. Nigeria that I grew up in is not the same Nigeria today. Now, our mates, our peers, they have portfolios of businesses and buildings. It's not even the question now that's asked is when you return to Nigeria, it's not even, oh, what did you bring back? They don't have those sort of conversations anymore. Now it's, oh man, what projects do you have right now? What are you working on? That's the conversation that's on the ground right now. Why wouldn't you leverage the infrastructure here, the knowledge that you've gained overseas to better yourself and set up shop? And then some might ask, well, if I build a house for myself, whether who's going to maintain that property when I'm not there? There are many options. Currently, my house in Akwa Ibom State in the village, nobody lives there. I employ an estate manager. Bear with me, let me share this. Let me just share this. Just bear with me. Join me live. Talking about today's USD to Naira black market exchange rate. Okay, so that's Facebook. Let me go to LinkedIn. Okay, so just share that on LinkedIn and Facebook. So for those of you who are just tuning in, wanted to share with you guys the current black market exchange rate, US dollar to Naira black market exchange rate. Like, I love Forex. Like, this is really what we do. Like, without this exchange rate, I don't think we'll be able to get anything done in Nigeria. So today's rate is 580 Naira. So if you have $1,000 to change, you are gonna get a value of 580,000 Naira. That's the current rate confirmed today in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, it's possible that you could get more in other cities. Well, Lagos right now, from my trusted agent is 580 Naira. A dollar, you get a value of 580 Naira. So back to what I was saying earlier. So yeah, and I get questions like this all the time, like, well, if I have a property in Nigeria, how am I gonna manage it? Should I allow my family to stay on the property while I'm not there? That's number one, that's a no-no. Like my property in the village in Nigeria, like nobody lives there. Even my own mother is not allowed to live in that property. That property is built to contain my nuclear family and no one else. So how is that maintained? How do I maintain that property? I hire an estate manager. He's on salary. He gets paid every 2 weeks. Bi-weekly, he gets paid. And his job responsibility, keep the property clean, maintain the lawn, air it out, and just make it look as if someone with common sense owns the place. That's his job. And he doesn't live there. He treats my property like a business. He goes in during the day, he does his work, and in the evening when he's done, he locks up, goes home, and comes back the next day and repeats. He's been on our payroll for the last 2 years, and we've never had any issues. Why do I do that? Because I know how hard it is to work and sacrifice and build something for yourself. And then you're just gonna let family members live in a property. You're essentially you're inviting trouble. No one is allowed on the property. No one lives on the property. You can come and visit, have a good time, but at the end of the day, they have to be gone. That's just how I choose to manage that property. Now, if you have, and this, because it's in the village, my principal residence in the United States is in Las Vegas. My principal residence in Nigeria is my property in the village. I don't have any property anywhere else in Nigeria, and I don't want any. Now, in some cases, if you have, let's just use for an example, you have a 2-bedroom flat that you've built. Airbnb is a good option. You could lease it out on a short-term basis and put a property manager or an estate manager in place to run your business operations for you. The country is transforming for the better. It's really transforming, and I am evangelizing this to you. 580 Naira, April 19th, 2022. That's the current black market exchange rate. If you have $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 in your savings or in an account, and you've always had this feeling of investing or building back in Nigeria, why not leverage the strength of the US dollar to your advantage? Cost of raw materials are stable, dropping. Labor, stable, dropping. People offering professional building services, contractors, stable, dropping. But the US dollar, it's rising. It's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Why would you not leverage? Why would you not leverage that? Now isn't the time Now isn't the time to build a dream home. Now is the time to build an investment portfolio of some sort. I spoke to someone the other day, gas stations. That's also another area of opportunity in Nigeria right now. If you have experience in that space, you could find gas stations that people are selling, or you could even work out a deal or a partnership with the owner of the gas station that allows you to manage the gas station, and you just pay them the lease or their rent. I can't begin to tell you the opportunities out there right now in Nigeria. But we have to get out of our comfort zone. The United States is comfortable, don't get me wrong. I've lived here pretty much my adult life. I moved to the United States when I was 11, went back to Nigeria when I was 14, returned to the US when I was 19. And I've been in the United States off and on, mostly on, since. And I travel to Nigeria regularly. I've been around the world. There's just no place. Nigeria is the best kept secret in the world right now. Do you know how many foreigners I saw on my last trip? There are actually more foreigners in the domestic airlines than there are Nigerians. Try traveling from Lagos to Akwa Ibom State. Filled with Lebanese, Chinese, Indians. Is there something that they are seeing that we're not seeing? Absolutely. You know what they're seeing? Opportunity. And it's a long-term opportunity too. It's not one of those, if you're one of those that's looking to come in today and cash out tomorrow, you are in the wrong business. Nigeria is probably not going to be the place for you, but you got to look at it as a long tail, long-term investment. What you reap, what you sow today, you may not reap for 10, 15 years, but when it does happen, tell me which investment other than, let's say, a Ponzi scheme or get rich quick scheme that you can invest in today that's going to promise you XYZ returns, just unbelievable returns. I mean, those are scams. But as far as like people who are looking to build slowly and every single day, you add on to it, you add on to it, you add on to it, you add on to it. I can't emphasize Nigeria enough. And why am I saying this? Because I have boots on the ground experience. I have boots on the ground experience, and I can tell you, my professional connections, they are actually stronger than my personal connections. Someone asked me the other day on YouTube, They were looking to invest in a beachfront property in Ibano. Ibano is like a coastal village or coastal township in Akwa Ibom State. It's about a good 45 minutes to an hour's drive from Uyo, the capital city. I went there to source opportunities, and it just wasn't, I didn't really like the energy. It wasn't welcoming. The people that I came across, and again, I don't speak forever. I'm sure there are great people who live in that place, but the people that I came across they were just looking at what they could get that day. They weren't interested in long-term relationship building at all. It's just what they could get that day. So my advice to anyone who's looking at investing in a place like Ibano, you really, really have to do your due diligence. Because I wasn't successful, or there just wasn't any traction. There was just really nothing for me to build upon when I was there. I can't advise you. But all I can say is just do your due diligence. If something is just too good to be true, it really is. 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, something is too good to be true, it is. So if a place like Ibano is not, if you don't know the area, you're not from that area, I wouldn't recommend, or know someone from that area that you trust, it's not an area that I would recommend for you to invest in. Start where you are. Start in your village, like we're doing. Start where you are, where you know people. And start small. That's just this tendency of, oh, I gotta go big, but you gotta start small and learn the business and learn the process and learn the culture and eat the food. And go out there and walk the land. And you have to really stay unapologetically focused. Because when you are really in the position to be successful or to do something that's going to impact your future in a positive way, that's when you start seeing these distractions come in from all over the place. And you just have to really be disciplined to really be focused on your why. Like, why are you there? Why are you looking to invest in Nigeria? Is it just for the money grab, or are you really looking to build and help build the communities out there? You got to really consider these things. And more importantly, seek the counsel of professionals. Don't just jump into it. Just don't dive into it head first. You really have to seek the counsel of professionals in whichever area that you're looking to invest in. All told, this 580 Naira rate is only going to keep on climbing. Don't wait until it's 590 or 600 to pull the trigger. Start with an idea. You start with an idea. And then surround yourself with a team that believes in your idea. Your mother, your brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, as much as I love my mother and I love my brothers and sisters, I just don't bring them into business. My circle, I have a very small circle that I live in. And nobody comes in that circle, just a very, very tiny bubble, very, very tiny circle of professionals that I have. And that has allowed me to be able to see things clearly because I am not distracted. Or at least I don't allow myself to be distracted with some. If distractions creeps in, I reject it immediately. Like, because I am just laser focused on what I need to do to get where I have to go. And unfortunately, distraction is a luxury that I just can't allow. For those who are wondering, well, for those who are wondering, for those who are wondering what industries has the lowest barrier to entry, land. But you have to be strategic about where you buy land. And you have to be willing to not think about the investment for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Because as of right now, you can literally buy a plot of land for $500,000 Naira. And if the rate is currently 580, if you have $1,000, you could buy land for 580,000 Naira. And I'm talking like maybe 300, 400, 500 square meter plot of land. Just to say that you own a piece of land, because they're just not making them anymore. And then see how that feels. See if it feels good, because it's really hard for you to go wrong. You can't, land appreciates. It's virtually impossible to lose money in land investments. Worst case scenario, you break even and recoup your investment. Best case, it appreciates. How did I find my agent? I went to Nigeria. I went to Nigeria and I walked into they sort of like have like this business center where all the bureau de change licensed agents where they operate. Why did I choose this particular agent that I work with? Because he's the only one that wasn't on the road soliciting. I found him. He wasn't soliciting like you get when you get to Nigeria. As soon as they see you, people just start rushing and say, "Oh, do you want to? Are you looking to sell US dollars?" Which a lot of people, that's what when you walk into that establishment, the people that you see there are looking to either buy or sell currency. But I dismissed all those distractions. I wanted to get a feel. Like there's a particular thing that I'm looking for. I was looking for somebody that wasn't desperate. When you start having desperate people around you or desperate people looking to do business with you, that's usually a clear-cut sign for you to run. So although I was looking to go in and sell the US currency that I had, I wanted to sell to someone that was not desperate. That's how I found him. I literally walked through a sea of agents soliciting to this one particular office. And there he was just sitting there in his office. I think he was having a soda. I'm not really sure what he was having. I knocked. He was professional, clean cut, greeted me, very courteous. Come on inside, my name is XYZ, and have a seat. As soon as I got that service, that professional service that just didn't reek of desperation, I knew then and there that that's going to be my guy. We sat down, he offered me a beverage, and we talked business. He wanted to learn about me, and I wanted to learn more about him. Until today, we are still working together. So to me, he's my go-to guy when it comes to currency. Yes, I shop around, but if I have a rate that is a good rate and he's offering a lower rate, I'm going to ask him. I tell him, hey, you know what, so-and-so XYZ is offering a better rate than you. Is this some, can you match that rate or can you beat it? And sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't agree, but ultimately I end up using him anyway. Just because I've had success dealing with him. And with me, once I find success with someone, I almost always stick with that person. Get your passport. If you don't have one, get a new passport. If you have an expired passport, renew your passport. Book that flight. Get on the plane. Go to Nigeria. Leave the Western ego. Check that at the door. Put on a t-shirt and a hat. This is how when I'm in Nigeria, I'm all business. I just wear my t-shirt and my hat, and I'm not interested in impressing anybody. There is absolutely nobody that I'm going to Nigeria to impress. I wear my Toms. I walk around in my Toms, in my running shoes. I can get dressed up in my suits and my designer clothes and my fancy jewelry when I'm back in the United States. But when I am in Nigeria on business, and I'm fortunate enough that my family is able to give me that time off, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go to Nigeria for business, I am all about my business. Literally, from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed, throughout the duration of the time that I'm there, I am all about my business. I don't call family. I don't call friends. Yeah, well, when I'm done with my day and I have a little bit of time to spare, yeah, I can invite a couple of people, come around and have a drink and chop it up. But outside of that, I am strictly business. When I am in Nigeria, away from my family, who have afforded me the luxury to be able to go and set up our future, I am strictly business when I'm there, man. Like, there is absolutely no distraction. I absolutely reject it. I don't welcome it. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. I don't want it. I want no part of it. If what I'm doing is not in furtherance of why I'm there, I want absolutely nothing to do with it. Because it's not easy to to leave your family and buy a plane ticket, and then you're gonna go to Nigeria and be messing around and entertaining the world and feeding the world and paying someone's school fees. And yeah, I'm pro giving. I think it's important for you to give and share and assist. But that's actually on my way to the airport. When I am done with Nigeria and I have a little bit left, yeah, maybe I'll call up a couple of people. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't really catch up with you, but hope all is well. Here's 5,000, 10,000 Naira. Use it and put fuel in your gas, put fuel in your car if you have a car, what have you. Yeah, that's really the extent of it. Why? Because I have seen people go to Nigeria and play God. And then they end up returning and they've accomplished absolutely nothing. I have examples for days. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up today. I just wanted to share that with you. And as more information come in that I think is useful, or that I feel is useful for you guys, I'm going to share it. And before I go, I just cannot emphasize prioritizing Nigeria enough for those who are interested. It's a great nation. It's not this war zone that people tend to make it out to be. And just allowing people to project their fears or their insecurities on you. I mean, if I listen to what people said, I would rip up my Nigerian passport, burn it, disown everybody back home, and just live my life comfortably. I have a comfortable life in America, very comfortable life. But I can have that comfortable life here, but still have an investment and a comfortable life in Nigeria. It's a great feeling. When you start experiencing the ability to be able to come and go as you want to, you can't go back. But you can't come and go at will when you are staying with someone, staying with family, staying with friends. They basically control you. They control your movement. Start small, build a 1-bedroom flat if you have to. And then build from there. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, comments, drop it in the comments, description, comments. And be sure to subscribe. All right, guys, all the best. If you find this information informative, insightful, and you've learned a thing or two, let us know in the comment section what you've learned. I wish I had this platform when I started. A platform where I can interact and connect with like mind. But this is what we are trying to accomplish with this. So thanks for giving me your time today. I really appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.